Good morning, everyone. It is March 2nd, 2018. I'm a little more awake now, um, so maybe this will go a little smoother than the previous videos. I was going to stop at those videos, but I found two more things to talk about, so I'm going to talk about them. The school shooting that killed over 300 and injured nearly 800 that you probably didn't hear about in the media. Of course, I do remember this vaguely. So we're going to get into this because it really does demonstrate the need for less gun regulation. All right. Last week, I addressed Communist Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat from Connecticut, and his lies and propaganda to advance his gun confiscation agenda following the Florida school shooting. In that piece, I listed several school shootings that occurred all over the world to demonstrate he was lying through his teeth about school or mass shootings occurring only in the United States. Among those, the top 7 shootings occurred outside the United States, including in those shootings was a shooting that occurred in 2004, in which 334 were killed and 783 were injured. Where did this travesty take place? I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pronounce the name of this place, so I'm going to say a province in Russia. Okay? Before we recount what happened there, let us consider the likes of the Face of Children's movement to attack the Second Amendment, gun owners, and the Constitution, David Hogg, Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, and even President Donald Trump, as they all seem to be joining hands and singing Kumbaya to implement more gun confiscation efforts. They really don't know what they're asking for, because if they did, they would look to Russia, which don't protect God-given rights like keeping and bearing arms. And allow me to say that the United States doesn't either. At least not the government. Now, here are some of the regulations from Russia. In fact, according to gunpolicy.org, here are the various gun laws that apply there. The regulations of guns in Russia is categorized as restrictive. In Russia, the right to private gun ownership is not guaranteed by law. Well, by the way, it's not guaranteed by law here either. Let's get this straight. Let's get this right. In Russia, civilians are not allowed to possess automatic firearms and handguns. In Russia, only licensed gun owners may lawfully acquire, possess, or transfer a firearm or ammunition. Applicants for a new gun owner's license in Russia are required to establish a genuine reason to possess a firearm, for example, hunting, target shooting, collection, personal protection, security. An applicant for a firearm license in Russia must pass a background check which considers criminal, mental health, and medical records. In Russia, an understanding of firearm safety and the law tested in a theoretical and/or practical training course is required for a license or for a firearms license. In Russia, gun owners must reapply and requalify for their firearms license every 5 years. In Russia, the law requires that a record of acquisition, possession, and transfer of each privately held firearm be retained in an official register. Firearms regulations in Russia include written specifications for the lawful, safe storage of private firearms and ammunition by licensed gun owners. In Russia, carrying a firearm in plain view in a public place is prohibited, with some exceptions: hunters, security guards, sport shooters. In Russia, carrying a concealed firearm in public is prohibited, with some exceptions. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like we are an awful lot like Russia. And we have a lot of these fucking policies on the books already. But I do believe that's the point. And what were the results of those restrictions on the freedoms of the Russian people, and more specifically those killed and injured in the Beslan School siege? The Beslan School siege, also referred to as the Beslan School hostage crisis or Beslan massacre, started on September 1st of 2004, lasting 3 days, involved the illegal imprisonment of over 1,100 people as hostages, including 777 children, and ended with the deaths of at least 334 people. The crisis began when a group of armed Islamic militants, mostly Ingush and Chechenian, occupied School Number 1 in the town of Beslan. And this is in the northern Caucasus region of Russia, or the Russian Federation, on September 1st, 2004. Okay? The hostage takers were I'm not really sure how to pronounce these, but Ryandus and Solikin, I'm not sure, battalion sent by Chechen warlord, who demanded recognition of the independence of Chechnya and Russian withdrawal from Chechnya. On the third day of the standoff, Russian security forces stormed the building with the use of tanks, incendiary rockets, and other heavy weapons. As of December 2006, 334 people, excluding terrorists, were killed, including 186 children. You see, the more restrictions you put on law-abiding citizens, the more you give the advantage to criminals. Why? Because criminals don't care for the laws. Let me stop right there. Now, a lot of these people writing these articles would definitely consider me to be a criminal. Allow me to point out that I haven't ran around with my weapons and created mayhem. Allow me to point out the police of this country does on a daily basis. Look at Baltimore, for example. Look at Chicago. Look at damn near every city across the country, and you will find a cop behaving in a manner not consistent with being able to own a gun. None of these laws stopped Islamic jihadis, who account for the majority of mass shootings 2 out of the last 3 years in the U.S., from obtaining weapons. Those laws did prevent teachers, staff, and others from being armed against them. Now, stop and think about that for just a moment. Don't get emotional. Stay calm and pass this on to Senator Murphy, David Hogg, and President Trump, and all the willing accomplices in the media and the children clamoring for more gun confiscation efforts. So, just more proof that the leftist talking points regarding gun control is total and utter bullshit. And their entire ideology is total and utter bullshit. They've got to be some of the most retarded people on the earth. Now, I parted ways with them, and believe me, I used to identify more as a Democrat than a conservative, because they lax drug policies and these kinds of things. But my support parted ways when they considered pro-choice to be okay. I am pro-choice, but that choice stops when it comes to the murder of a baby inside of a woman. Now, I dig it. I totally do. People should be able to do with their bodies what they want. I get it. But the problem with this is the body you're killing is not yours. And after that, I started to lean more to the Republican side of things. And I decided I don't fit in very well with those folks either. And ended up in the middle of the road as I am now. So, these people, actually, both parties are retarded beyond belief, to be honest with you. I mean, the Democrats want to put all the power of violence, of being able to protect the people, into the very hands of people who go around and victimize the citizenry of this country with their guns and their position as law enforcement. So, I ended up being for neither, and I will continue to be for neither. I will not take the side of a Democrat or a Republican, because both sides are total fucking scum, especially at the leadership level. So, I hope everyone has a great day, and remember, kill the state and live free.